everyone, welcome to Just Interesting People podcast. My name is Rosie.
My name is Jeremy.
And today we are celebrating 2 years of the podcast.
YouTube, welcome.
Yeah, this is our faces. This is what we look like if you're new here. If you've been listening to us on the podcast and the audio things, you'll probably recognise our voices. But this is what we look like. Hello, nice to see you. Yeah, we're starting YouTube. This is exciting. This is scary, but it's going to be a whole new adventure for us, and we can't wait to bring you along with us.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome if this is your first time. We are celebrating our 2 years anniversary. This is episode 104, and we're just going to quickly celebrate today, basically, the podcast and everything we've been doing. And if you're new here, we're going to introduce the podcast to you to let you know what it is about.
Yeah, who we are, what we do. So, should we quickly talk about ourselves before we jump into the podcast? Okay, so my name is Rosie. I'm from England, from the north of England, where it's cold and rainy all the time. Jeremy loves it. Yeah, we met. Well, you're Jeremy for a start. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Jeremy. I'm 34, I think.
Yeah.
From France. And yeah, we've been together for nearly 12 years now.
Yeah, we met in Australia 12 years ago.
In 2010.
Yeah. Got married in 2015, honeymoon 2016. We've lived in France. We've lived in Miami. I guess we're now living in England because we're here.
We're not living anywhere, but
yeah, we're kind of not living anywhere. But yeah, we started this podcast about 2 years ago.
2 years ago, February 2020, just before the pandemic happened, and it just started as a kind of a dare with a friend. It's something we had on the back of our mind. We had the name booked and everything planned. We had the idea, but we never executed on it. And eventually, we just I decided to go for it, to be honest.
Jeremy was one day was like, you know that podcast we thought about doing? Yeah. We're going to do it. I was like, oh, okay then. So that was 2 years ago. Yeah. And it's been bloody wonderful.
Yeah. 103 episodes. Yeah. 104 today. Rosie has been telling me to go on YouTube since the beginning. I've always said no, because I had a full-time job and I didn't have time to do video editing, and also I don't like being on video, to be honest. I hate it, so this is really a stretch for me.
But we're doing it. No, it's going to be good. I'm really excited because I think it'll be nice for you guys, if you're listening and watching, to be able to see the person that we're talking to and to see facial expressions and me crying most episodes as well. It's just a way to connect with our audience a little bit more, to connect with you, and for you to get to know who we're talking to and to get to know us a little bit more as well.
Yeah, and also it's going to allow us to reach to new people. If you're new here, thanks YouTube. Because podcasts are great, but the discoverability is pretty shitty, honestly, on podcast app, when YouTube is, the second biggest search engine in the world after Google. And yeah, we are hoping that we can share our guest stories to just more people through this new platform. So this is why we're doing it.
Okay, so now that we've introduced ourselves, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. So Jeremy's got some facts for you.
Yeah, and actually, before we do that, what is the podcast about?
Oh, exactly? Yeah, let's talk about that.
It's called Just Interesting People. And basically, the idea is coming from, we like to travel.
Yeah.
We like to meet people.
Yeah.
And when sometimes you go somewhere, you meet someone, you have a really interesting chat with them, and then it's just a memory. It's gone because you didn't record it. You might never see this person ever again. And, you lose your memory a little bit. You forget things. And also those memories, those experiences don't get shared. And, you tell people, but information get lost. And when
it's never quite the same as well, especially when you're telling somebody else's story, that you don't get the emotion behind it and the back, the whole picture. Yeah.
So we thought about recording those conversations, and honestly, we started to do it just for us, in a sense. Like, we had the idea for us to just remember them. Rosie has a terrible memory, so
I really do. Yeah.
So we thought we could just record them for us, and then we might as well share them, because maybe some other people might be interested and might get inspired by them. And we're like, who could we talk to? And if there's something we've learned through our travel, is that everybody has a story. There's always something. You just need to dig a little bit sometimes. But everyone is going through something, positive or negative. Everyone is trying to achieve something. Everyone is, growing in a sense. And everyone's journey is different.
Yeah, and from every single episode, we learn something about ourselves or about somebody else or about a different situation that had we not had that conversation, maybe we wouldn't have realised. Yeah. So we're hoping to kind of share that with everybody else, and hopefully you'll learn some things, hopefully you'll grow, hopefully you'll, I don't know, just find interest in people's lives like we do, basically.
Yeah, and also it's we are trying to spread a little bit of, positivity and stuff. And even if some people have, shitty things happening in their life, most people go through it. Most people move forward and carry on with their life. And there's so much negativity in the world, especially right now, going on, that we just want to share a message of hope and a message of like united. We keep being divided with shit happening all the time, and just trying to basically make a point that we kind of all similar.
Even if you
have different background and different culture and different things, we very often want the same things and just want to be happy and stuff, so we are more the same than we think we are.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to show here.
Yeah.
And last thing is also, everyone is interesting. You don't need to be a celebrity. You don't need to be, I don't know, extremely talented at one thing. You don't need to be on TV or whatever to be interesting. Even the person that you saw in the street earlier today is probably interesting. You just don't know because you've never talked about it yet. But everyone has a story, really, everyone, not just big famous people that you always hear about.
Well, and that's actually like, from the beginning, we kind of said we don't particularly want to interview super famous people. Maybe one day that'll happen, who knows? But like, we want to interview ordinary people who are working at your bakeries, who are hairdressers, who are dancers, who are like shopkeepers, who are like, it really doesn't matter what people do for a profession, but just anyone and everyone talking about anything and everything. We're going to talk about what we've talked about so far in a second. But yeah, it's just normal people, because like Jeremy said, everybody's interesting. You don't have to be like 5 million followers on Instagram and like a TV show or like a movie star or a sports person. Like, you can be interesting and be a regular person.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what the podcast is.
So this is episode 104, first one on YouTube. So far we had 85 guests on the show.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And it's not easy to find guests, let me tell you, because this is my job. And
I'm surprised we have that many people to talk to, honestly.
Yeah, most of them we know them.
Yeah,
personally.
Most of them have been friends.
Most people we met them in person. A few of them were people that we found online, that we've been following on our acquaintance, stuff like that. But yeah, and even, the people that we've never met, the podcast gave us a chance to create a relationship, and everything. So that's been great, really. And I'm really grateful for the 85 of you, all of you guys. Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us a chance, because and sharing, opening up about your story. Thank you.
Especially for a brand new podcast as well. Like, we're not famous people. We don't have a huge audience. So for people to take their time to talk to us and share their story with us, is like, it's really touching. It's really moving that people want to do that.
And everything. And also, more people get, real and vulnerable, and they don't have to, but it's great that they do, because this is what it's all about. It's amazing. So 85 guests. We did 14 specials like that, when it's just Rosie and I, and we just chit chat about random things like we are doing right now. We did plenty. You can find all of them on our website, justinterestingpeople.com. If you search for special, they're all going to come up. We did 2 guests came back.
Yeah, for a second
our round. Very first one, Alvi, came back for episode 100. And we are going to interview Sam Lister every year, we decided.
On the 4th of May, right? We decided.
Yeah, we did that first year, and we
were like, may the 4th be with you. We'll do it every year now. Yeah.
He's 19 years old. He's creating an amazing life, basically, for himself. So we thought that we would follow his journey to see how he's doing. So that'll be coming around springtime, probably. And we have also another episode where 3 previous guests came together to talk about a yoga teacher training that we did last year.
Yeah.
So that's how we end up with 104 episodes. And through those 104 episodes, I'm just going to share some numbers. I'm a little bit of a number nerd for that, to be honest. But I'm also going to put in perspective. In 2020, we had 9,600 downloads on the podcast. In 2021, we had a bit more than 22,000 So we more than double,
That's crazy.
Which is amazing. And thank you to all of you who listen. Now you can watch, but until now you could only listen to us. And also, well, in 2022 so far we have a few thousands already. Rosie has been posting a few episodes on her YouTube channel.
Yeah, not all of them.
When we do
about
special ones.
6 or 7.
Something like that, yeah. And, well, it's only 5, 6, but it's more than 4,000 views.
Yeah, some of them are doing quite well, which is good.
So in total, in 2 years, we had a bit more than 38,000 downloads of views, which is so cool. Like, you don't want to get attached to number, and
that's not why we're doing it.
And compared to some podcasts, it's not much. Some people get that in a month. But I always think, like, if at the end of the month, we had 2,000 downloads, I always think, I would have been speaking in front of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
That would be freaking scary.
Terrifying.
That's how you think about it. And suddenly, even when you just have 50 people listening,
it's huge.
Big, because, would you speak in front of 50 people live like that, and just for an hour and be the center of attention with everyone watching you? Like, yeah.
Terrifying.
So yeah, I always put those numbers in perspective, because it might not be big in a grand scheme of things, but when you put it this way,
it's bigger than nothing. It's bigger than nothing.
And also because we don't have any audience, we don't have a big Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or anything. We started from zero with just word of mouth, sharing the podcast with friends and on social media and everything. So this is 100% organic, never paid for an ad or anything.
No.
So yeah, pretty proud, honestly, to be there.
And patting us on the back if you're listening. Go us.
Yeah. And what I like about the podcast is that we had an incredible diversity of guests.
Really, honestly, I'm just scratching my eye. Yeah, we've really talked to so many people about so many different things, because like we said, everybody's interesting. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, how old you are, your ethnicity, your sexual preferences, whatever. Like, it really doesn't matter. Everyone's interesting. Yeah. So I've written down some things that we've talked about. So we've talked to people about Tourette's, which was incredible. We learned so much, so much.
Thank you, Luke.
And by the way, all of these episodes, if you're watching, we'll leave them linked down below in the description box. If you're listening, you can go ahead and search on your podcast platform and find them all.
And everything is on justinterestingpeople.com anyway.
Yeah, all there. So we talked about Tourette's. We've talked about racism, and in terms of being a Black person in America for a couple of episodes, and different people and their perspectives and things that happened. Being part of the LGBTQIA plus community. We've had a couple of guests as well talking about their experiences, about coming out, about struggling with things, about childhood, their experiences. We've talked to immigrants about changing countries and moving around and what that's like, and being the foreign person in a different country, and all the pressures and starting again, and incredible. We've talked to somebody about autism. That was really, really interesting as well. We learned lots of different information from Angelique about that. Yeah. We talked about infant loss. So 4 of the episodes was me and Jeremy, because we've actually experienced 3 miscarriages and a late-term abortion. So if you want to listen to any of that, you can find it again on the website. And we also talked to somebody who's had 8 miscarriages, I think it was, and she's now pregnant via IVF. So we talked about IVF and that process and getting pregnant and the stress of it all, and that was a whole thing. So that was incredible. Yeah. We've talked about entrepreneurship with a couple of different guests. About building your own business, having the confidence to do it, about loads of information there. I'm trying to be brief about this, but there's so much. We have mentioned suicide. So a couple of them, one of my episodes, I talked about suicide. We talked to somebody about stuttering, and he mentioned suicide. So there are really real and raw and tough subjects as well that we talk about. We've talked about eating disorders as well, and addiction. That's a couple of other subjects we've talked about. We've also talked about the environment in terms of saving the oceans,
plastic pollution.
Somebody in Oxapampa in Peru talking about the environment there.
Yeah, about Blue Mission bringing water to remote communities in Dominican Republic as well.
Yeah. We've also talked to creative people in terms of painters, dancers, photographers, drone photographers, videographers, YouTubers, lots of creative people about their creative process, how they got started, about their childhood, about putting yourself out there as an artist and doing something that you love and potentially being rejected or, you know, not being paid for doing what you love to do. So we've honestly talked about so many different things.
Yes,
it's not just, you know, it's not just YouTubers or just photographers or just like, it's literally so many different people. And I'm sure I'm missing things as well. Like,
yeah, probably, yeah. Which is also me. Yeah, we don't really have a niche. Our niche is people.
Yeah.
It's you. You're our niche,
anyone,
basically.
Anyone and everyone.
We don't have a niche in terms of, it's not about fitness. It's not about tech. It's not about whatever. But
it's just interesting people.
Our niche is human beings, basically. What I love also is we had such a wide variety of guests in terms of age. I think the youngest one must have been Sam, 19 years old. And I think the oldest guest was 60 plus.
Yeah.
To be honest. So about 62, 63 probably. So, yeah, you know, we talk really to anyone, everyone, different backgrounds, different religion, different countries, different ethnicities, different races, different sexuality, like Rosie said before. So, yeah, we try to include as many people as possible.
Everyone's welcome around here.
Yeah, we don't really care basically like where you're from or anything like that. We just want to know your story. So yeah, no, it's been fun also to learn from that because, you know, both white,
straight
people, from
cisgender,
Western countries, from Europe, you know. So obviously we have a lot of privilege and everything. So talking to different people with different background and different privileges has been also a good way to, you know, put things in perspective again and realize how good our life is and yeah, just to understand that. I don't know, I like to do that when, you know, we keep complaining about daily things. When you talk to someone that had a different life or whatever, you know, I'm very grateful for the life I have and I had so far.
Yeah.
Thanks to all those conversations. They're good reminders that we need to appreciate things a little bit more.
And it's also nice to hear other people's stories that you might relate to or that you don't relate to. I think it's good in both ways. You either learn from it or you feel like you're not alone.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's something out there on the podcast already that kind of resonates with you or that maybe you learn from. But if not, let us know in the comment section if there's anything in particular you want us to talk about or talk to. Let us know. We're open to suggestions as well.
I'll find someone.
Yeah.
And like the reason we talked about our infant loss experiences was because we felt really lonely when that happened. For example, we didn't find that much information where we could relate, so that's why we talked about it, and that's why we brought Lauren on the show to talk about her experience, and that's why also I kind of constantly reach out to people to talk about that. Not been very successful at the moment, but
it's a tough one.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
it's so personal, and it's also so much judgment, you know, especially around abortion.
Yeah.
But I would love to have more people talking about it because this is a topic that is really, we care about. So, yeah, we'll probably have more about that.
And I think so we're going to talk about this in a second. Thing that people would like to talk to. I'd actually like to talk to somebody who doesn't identify as female that's had an abortion, because it doesn't only happen to women. It happens to different people of all different
sexuality and
but genders. Yeah. So it's not just, you know, young girls who get pregnant from a one night stand and have to have an abortion. Like, there's so many different stories, and I think it's so worth talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay tuned.
So yeah, that was our 2 years celebration. We're launching on YouTube to celebrate, like I said at the beginning, to have just more people listening to our guest stories. And like Rosie said also, this is, I think, going to help people to connect with us and with our guests, because, you know, seeing faces and seeing emotional expression, stuff like that is going to help with the connection. And it's going to be a challenge, to be honest, because we don't have a studio.
Yeah, we don't have a house.
Travel around, so we have mics and phone and things in a backpack, and so it's going to be tricky. The background is always going to be different. Don't get attached to it. But yeah, it's not going to be easy, to be honest, but we'll figure out.
I also think when traveling, if we have, you know, cars outside or like roommates in the room next door, or like we're going to be in hostels and Airbnbs and who knows where, so it's going to be good fun.
And also, what's interesting is most of our guests are not tech savvy. Sometimes just getting the audio right is not easy. So having that plus the image, it's going to be fun. But
We'll make it work.
Yeah,
we'll
make
figure
it work,
out.
and that's why I like it, to be honest. So, something else coming. YouTube is not the only surprise. We are now on Buy Me a Coffee. If you don't know this platform, we don't like coffee, by the way, but I always find that ironic. It's basically a kind of Patreon platform where creators like us can create a profile, and if you like the work that we do, if you like this podcast and this YouTube channel, and if you want to support us, because we're not getting paid for that, we're not getting any money for that.
It's we're not costing doing ads us either.
Yeah, it's costing us money every month to run this show. We don't have any ads because I hate ads on a podcast. It drives me nuts when I have to skip to hear about this episode is sponsored by blah 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 blah. It drives me nuts personally, so I don't want to do that. So if you want to help us, if you want to support the podcast, if you want to support the show, for us, to be able to get better equipment, to keep traveling, to meet new people, and just to say, thank you. It doesn't have to be whatever, just generosity also. Basically, yeah, I'm going to leave the page link in the description, in the show notes, so you can check it out. But we are creating a membership, and for $5 a month, so for the price of a coffee, basically, which is why it's called Buy Me a Coffee, a month, you're going to get some little things. So you can support us, obviously. You're going to get access to a private VIP community on Discord, where we will post exclusive content there, a lot of behind the scenes. I will include and involve as much as possible the community in terms of the life of the podcast. If we have a question, if you want to make a change, if I don't know which episode to publish next or whatever, I'm going to include you guys as much as I can, just to make it fun. And I want you to feel part of this project, basically, because we're just the host, but it's not about us, basically. So yeah, I want to include you guys as much as possible. And I also want to publish exclusive content on the Discord. So the members will have access to some exclusive episode once in a while. They could be monthly recap, the main lesson that we learned about the conversation we had with the guest during the months. I also would like to do some Q&A with the guests. So, after listening to the episode, the guest would come on the private platform and you could ask questions, anything that you want, for an hour or so, I guess. I also would like to do some live at some point where we could also interact and just have a chat live, without being pre-recorded and everything. So I've got plenty of ideas.
That's scary.
Everything is not set up yet because it's just coming out. So, it's going to be evolving with time. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. And I am very grateful for the few people who already donated.
Yeah, we got 3 so far, right?
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Just like single donations like that. But I thought creating this membership would, give me a chance to really create a community behind this podcast, because I know some people listen to a lot of the episodes, and I'm hoping more people will listen to, and we are doing our best to create a safe space for our guests to share stories and everything. And I want to create something similar behind the scene to create more interaction, basically, between all of us.
Yeah, so you're more involved with the process, and you're on this journey with us, and you're meeting the people with us. You're going to see their faces now with video if you want to do that. And okay, can we talk about the plans for the future?
Yeah, we can.
So we're thinking about bringing out merch. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, Jeremy's wearing his t-shirt and cap. He's modelling it very well. He's like giving it all this.
Yeah, and I've got a fun case also with my face on it. But...
Yeah. No, so we're thinking about doing a merch line of some sort. This is kind of a little bit further into the future. Yeah. Possibly not with the writing on like this.
I actually asked Rosie to design logo a few days ago.
Yeah, I've been playing about on Canva trying to create some sort of logo design that's the same colours and aesthetic, but not saying just interesting people. Yeah. So it's something that kind of anyone could wear and you wouldn't necessarily know what it was, but if you knew it, you would recognise it.
Yeah.
So that's something potentially coming this year.
Yeah, that'll be coming. Yeah, that'll be coming this year at some point. Let's put it out there.
And then Jeremy's long-term goal scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to be ambitious about this thing. I really like it. I've said many times that I'm doing this podcast for me, honestly.
For us, yeah.
And people listening, people are watching is great, but I'm doing it for myself, and this is also why I can keep going, because if I was just doing it for the numbers or for the money or whatever, I would have given up long ago. But my big vision, and I'm talking like probably 10 years, is to basically host a real like summit, like where I think it would start online and then it would be in person probably, but like a big conference on, I guess it would start with just a few hours and then a day and then maybe a whole weekend, where we could bring some of our most, I don't know, most popular or guests or whoever wants to come, basically some guests that we had on the show, they would come and give a talk for an hour or so, and then the audience would be able to ask questions. Everything would be live. And yeah, we just a great opportunity to hang out basically together and meet people from, like I said, different background, different things, and they would be able to ask questions to the guests, because they've listened to the episode before and they relate it to the story and they would love to meet them in person and stuff like that. And it's just, I think, a great way to, again, community, like I said before, like this is what I would like to create from now on, and just to get together and help this out, basically. So I think it will start online. Maybe for like 4 hours I would have 2 people coming, and then Q&A, and then whole day, and then a big live thing with 1,000 people and lights and everything and music.
I don't know how you're going to get me on a stage in front of 1,000 people.
It's alright, we'll be the host. We just have to say hi at the beginning and introduce the guests.
I can say hi,
It'll be alright. Yeah, this is my big goal, honestly. I actually had the idea from one of my favorite podcasts, to be honest, The School of Greatness. And this is what he does. He has a podcast, and once a year he's hosting a summit with some guests, and people can join, and it's just amazing to get together like that and meet people that you've seen online or heard or stuff, but you can actually meet them and connect and stuff, and create, maybe lifelong friendships or stuff like that. So yeah, that's the goal for the future, so stay tuned for that. I also find a way to say thank you to our members. So if you become a member, you will have some sort of privilege whenever that happens, to be honest. I don't know
still working out the kinks of it all, aren't we?
Same for the merch. As soon as we launch the merch, the members will have, I don't know, discount, perks, private access, whatever it is, but giveaway. But yeah, I really want to give back as much as we can in terms of, thank you, and I want to express my gratitude to people who are going to be supporting us.
Because that's the thing, without the guests, there wouldn't be a podcast. And without the listeners, I mean, there would still be a podcast, but still do it for us.
Yeah.
But we want everyone to feel connected and to feel like we're all in this together, we're all in a big group together, and we're all, just figuring life out together, because that's what we're all kind of trying to do here, isn't it, basically?
Basically, yeah. So before we end this episode, a couple of things that we thought we could talk about. The first thing is lesson learned during those 2 years. What lesson did we learn from all those 104 episodes, from those 85 guests that we had? What's coming up for you?
The first thing coming to mind is that being vulnerable is a strength, because there's so many people that we've spoken to. Some of them we've known, some of them we've known a little bit less. They're kind of an acquaintance, and people are so vulnerable with us. And it's incredible to see people, talking about like miscarriages with somebody they don't know, and like to talk about, the struggles of trying, or like not even just that. I mean, like they've had like loads of different stories, but the fact that people can be vulnerable with us and talk to us and share their experiences, no matter what it is, I just think is incredible.
Yeah, we had some really amazing moments, especially when we were able to record live in Miami in our apartment. I got up, like with Katie or with Sari. At the end we had just a big group hug, and we were really all crying and stuff like that. And yeah, we do our best to create a safe space without judging, whatever our guest is sharing. We also don't want to push people, because it's really personal sometimes, but yeah, it's been amazing to see how strong, obviously, some people are, and how willing they are to open to sometimes strangers like us, because they know that, and they hope, I guess, that it's gonna help someone.
Yeah.
And
but it's also helpful for them. I mean, I remember,
it's really healing.
So I'm not going to name people, but certain people have said, oh my gosh, that was like a therapy session. It's so good to talk about it and get it all out in the open, and to just tell someone else that it really heals them. So that's one of them. The other thing is that people are bloody strong.
Yeah.
People go through some shit that you think, how on earth are you getting through? Like, how on earth did you get through that? And they do. So if you're going through something right now, you're strong and you can get through it. I promise you. Just keep going, keep fighting. It will get better. That's the second thing I'm going to cry thinking about that. 1 minute. No, because they are, aren't they? People go through so much shit. Having a moment. 1 minute. Jeremy, your turn. What have you learned?
If you're new to this is Rosie. This is.
Oh, I'm a crier.
Yeah, you get used to it. I should have gone first. My lessons would be, it's a bit the same topic, but I'm going to phrase it differently. Is we're all going through shit. Yeah. Even people that, you would see some people online or in the street, or even some friends, and you think, oh, they have this good life and they have it all figured out, they're not stressed, they have everything they want, whatever. And no, like you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know what's going on inside them, inside the brain, inside the heart, and stuff like that. And we very often feel that we are going through something alone, and that, why is it happening to us? I don't have anyone to talk to about it and stuff like that. And it's actually happening to way more people than you think. It might be different circumstances and stuff like that, but we all go through things, to be honest.
Can I just add, I think it's so important as well to talk about things now with Instagram, because I think Instagram and YouTube portray this like perfect life of nothing going on. Us, for example, we're off traveling and taking pictures. Yeah, but we still have stuff going on at home. Like, we still have things to worry about, and we still have our problems and, things. But people look at us and think, oh my God, they're perfect. Well, I don't know, maybe they don't. I don't know, but maybe not us in particular. But I mean, just anyone, if you see people like living their best life on Instagram or YouTube, and you think, oh my God, they're doing this wonderful thing and I'm stuck at home doing whatever I'm doing. But then they've still got things going on, and people do go through things. I think it's important to break away from that like Instagram perfect life thing that we show to other people, and
people
show
only
the real
show
us.
Highlights of the life, don't show the real raw moment. And we can talk about it. I mean, last year we went through some shit. Right now we are going through some shit. But if people look at your YouTube, we're still traveling in Peru. When actually we are home because things are going on, So don't believe everything you see and everything you hear.
So I think it's important to talk about real life and real things. But then also, just to kind of counteract what you've said, or both of us have said, not all of the episodes are like this deep, dark, hard path that someone's overcome. Like, it is just like,
say that.
I'm a dancer and I love dancing and expressing myself, and I do, like, it's, it's not all like deep, dark, serious conversations. No. That's like, oh my God, how did this person survive? Like, it's not that dramatic.
No, that was my second point. Is I'm impressed and really happy to see the resilience, the courage, and the determination and the creativity of people.
It's a positive place, by the way. It's not all...
I love to see people, coming from nowhere with nothing and creating this company, or realizing the dream of becoming a dancer or whatever, even if the path is tough and people are telling them maybe it's not the right thing to do or whatever, but they keep going because they really believe in it, and now they are living the best happy life. And it's really inspiring also to listen to that, because we all have dreams, and we all heard at least once this is a stupid idea or whatever. And listening to people succeeding, trying to do random, quote unquote, unusual, weird sometimes things is very encouraging, and motivating to actually chase your dream and stuff like that. So this is really cool. people also extremely generous and kind, and I love like, Danny with Blue Mission, Katie with Debris Free Ocean, people creating organization to help others somewhere else or to help the planet. They don't have much to gain in there. But they dedicate their life doing that. John helping girls in India going to college and stuff like that, just because he fell in love with Indian and orphans over there, and he wants to dedicate his life to help them get an amazing education. Like, there's so much beauty in the world, so much
goodness.
Goodness that, again, like, we hear all the time about the negative, and we always hear like dividing statements. People are trying to rip us apart, I feel, and stuff like that. And no, there's so much people doing amazing good things in the world, and we don't hear about it often enough. So it's so inspiring, and it's also what's motivating us to keep going with whatever we want to. Right? We do know that if we keep going, we will be successful, whatever that means for us. I'm not speaking financially; it can be anything, but we will be successful achieving whatever we want to. And when you have a bad day, hearing someone sharing his story and telling you keep going, you're gonna make it. I made it. I was in this situation, I made it. It's very helpful when you have a down day and stuff like that.
So with that said, obviously we've talked to lots of different people, but who is somebody you would still like to talk to, or something you would like to talk about?
Me, I've got two things. I think I've shared that before, and I don't know when it's gonna happen, because I'm also kind of terrified by the idea of it. But I would love to speak to at least one homeless person. But I am not brave enough to ask, to be honest. I feel, I don't know, I'm a very curious person. I always think in my head, and I always like wonder, how this person ended up in the street where she is right now, stuff like that. But also never ask them, to be honest, because I don't know why, because I'm always scared that I don't know, it's gonna be weird or whatever. I don't know, because of plenty of bullshit excuses that I make in my head, to be honest. I never talk to them, I never ask them, but I think that there could be a lot to learn there. That could be an entire podcast, to be honest.
There's also a stereotype about, like, if you're homeless, it's because you're a druggie, basically.
Yeah.
And, like, they're dangerous people, don't talk to them, don't look at them, don't interact with them. Well, actually, I don't think that's the case at all. Probably most homeless people. Obviously, probably it happens sometimes.
It can happen, but... And even if it's that, like, we did speak to people with drug addiction and stuff like that, and it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means, they're going through rough path and stuff like that, and they ended up where they are. And, it's not... Yeah, it's just happening to them, and it's not great, and they deserve help as well. So this is something I would love to, but honestly, I don't have the courage to ask and stuff like that. This is the truth. And also, this is a tricky one, but in a way, we talk to a lot of people. Obviously, I pick the guest, so I speak to who I want. So most of the time, it's topics that I relate to, that I want to learn about, that I agree with, stuff like that. I've never spoken to someone that I strongly disagree with, for example. I think I would be very argumentative, to be honest, because I'm a bit righteous. But I think that would be challenging. I think it would be a very interesting exercise as a host to have a conversation with someone you really disagree.
So what he means by disagree with is somebody who's anti-abortion, or somebody who's very racist.
Yeah, or I don't know, something
extreme though. Right?
Yeah, something that is really like, I really, 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 really disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
But I still want to give you, anyway, in a sense, it's not because I disagree with you that your, point of view is stupid or whatever, if I think it is.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
It's not always about right or wrong. It's just sometimes we have different opinion about whatever. And yeah, I think that will be really challenging. Rosie made a good point also before we recorded about that.
Yeah, well, so It's an interesting one, because if you speak to somebody like that, for example, who is very racist, believes that anybody who has an abortion are murderers, like got really very strong views, you don't want to silence them and tell them their views don't matter, because, you know, everybody, you know, free speech, freedom of thought, you should be able to think what you want. Fine, I agree with that. But at the same time, I don't particularly want to give these people a platform where they can spread hate.
Yeah.
So I don't want somebody who's saying, if you've had an abortion, you're a murderer, because I've had an abortion and I'm not a murderer. Or somebody who says, if you're black, then this, that, and the other. If you're gay, this, that, and the other. I'm not going to say things because I don't want to be offensive. But, like, I don't want to give anybody the platform to say those things with our name associated to it as well, honestly. And for us to sit there and have to kind of accept it because you're listening to their point of view, but also I'm going to want to argue with it because I don't agree with it. So I just think it's going to be such a tricky minefield of, like, how do you handle that? Like, do you just let them say what they want, or do you argue? But then what's the point in...
I don't know. But I think it'll be...
I don't know if I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Those are two things that have been in my mind. But yeah, maybe I'll just never do them. But yeah.
Mine are a little bit more lighthearted. I would love to speak to an astronaut. And when I was writing this, I put space person. I was like, I can't remember the name. And Joe was like, it's an astronaut, Rosie.
Which is funny, because if you go to our website or the description of the show, we say, like, you don't need to be a celebrity, an astronaut, or whatever to be interesting.
But it would be interesting.
But it would be fucking interesting.
It would be so interesting to be like, oh my God, how long did it take you to learn how to go into space? How long were you there for? How do you eat your food? How do you go to the toilet? What are you doing up there? What happens?
I'm on it. I'll make it happen.
I want to do that. And also a paleontologist, basically a Ross from Friends. Like, so this is something I said to Jeremy.
A dinosaur nerd.
Something I would love to do is to excavate, said it right, dinosaur bones. Like, I would love to go somewhere and with a little brush and be like, I found a bone! Woohoo! I got a dinosaur bone. I don't know why.
She said she loved Jurassic Park.
Well, I just don't understand how dinosaurs were alive. It just boggles my mind. So I would love to do that. So I'd love to speak to somebody who does that for a job and be like, how many bones have you found? How long does it take you to find a bone? So,
little secret, I actually contacted someone yesterday.
Yeah,
about that. She didn't reply yet, but I'll make it happen.
I just think that'd be so fun.
I'll make the paleontologist happen this year for sure. Astronaut, I'm going to try, but it's not that easy, to be honest. I've been looking, and it's not that easy to get in touch with them. But so I can't promise it for this year, but hopefully next year.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you're a paleontologist, an astronaut, a homeless person, or somebody who thinks that racism and abortion and all that stuff, let us know. We might chat to you, we might not. We'll see.
What else? I think that's it for this one, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you made it so far, thank you. Again, thank you for your support. If you've been listening to one or more episode on the podcast so far, really, really appreciate it and really grateful for it. If you found us today on YouTube, welcome to the family, welcome to the community. We hope you will enjoy those episodes.
Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, I need to get used to the
YouTube thing.
Vocab thing.
So if you're listening, this isn't relevant to you, I'm sorry. But if you're watching, hi, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and comment down below anybody you think would be interesting that we can talk to and interview. We would love to know your suggestions. And if you're listening, send us a message on Instagram. Jeremy's very active on there. He can answer questions. And
you can leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. 5 stars would be amazing.
Yeah, we deserve it, don't we?
Give us a follow on @justinterestingpeople on Instagram. Our website is justinterestingpeople.com.
Obviously, there's the Buy Me a Coffee as well.
I will link the Buy Me a Coffees if you want to support us. That will be extremely appreciated. And yeah, we are super excited. 2 years, we're not stopping. We're going to keep going until I have my damn summit. And yeah, we just hope that you learn from this, that you enjoy those episodes. If you think you're interesting, if you know someone interesting and you would like us to interview this person, reach out, let us know. I'll do my best to make it happen.
We're always looking for people, and you know, everyone's welcome here. Like I said, I
joked every week,
before. Yeah, I was joking before about we might not talk to you. Like, we'll talk to anybody. So
yeah,
come and say hello.
Episodes are released every Friday. No, every Wednesday. Why I say Friday?
Episodes are released every single Wednesday, guys. Every Wednesday. Not Friday.
Something about this podcast, if you're new here, we don't cut things. We are who we are. We make mistakes. And I don't cut it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not perfect.
So, no one's perfect.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And we'll be back next Wednesday with a brand new episode, both on YouTube and on all podcast platforms. So make sure you come back and we will see you very, very soon.
Bye.
Bye.